Welcome back to Rocket Talk. It is now time for episode 18. Once again, I am joined by Johnny and Connor, who actually happen to be right next to each other today. They're back to being next to. They can almost kiss if they wanted to. So, but it's another week where we have consumed just a lot of more fun nerd media. Johnny briefly talked about Xenoblade last week, and now he just started it. Now he's another week in. I'm sure he's probably way too many hours in. Johnny, how far into Xenoblade are you, and and how far are you to be finished with the game now?
So I'm currently on I believe it's chapter 11 out of 17, and I've done, so I'm about 75% of the way, maybe not quite exactly that, but almost about 75% of the way, and I've put in about 50 hours so far, and I still have quite a while to go left. So and then after that, I also have the future connected extra content, which I've been told by our friend Gabe takes about 15 to 20 hours. So yeah, I've got quite a bit left to do, and I've already done so much. So I'm looking forward to it because it's got a really great story. It's got really great gameplay. There's a lot of twists and turns and plot twists, and good guys become bad guys, and bad guys, I think, are likely going to become good guys, and there's a lot of interesting character development that I'm super excited to see more of. So yeah, it's a good adventure game, and I'm enjoying it.
Nice. And I do know Connor did recently acquire the BioShock collection on Switch. Connor, have you played any of that yet, or are you? I know you've been playing a lot of Zelda. You finished that up before you start it, or what?
Yeah, I don't know why I'm like that, but I like to work on one game at a time, and I'm so close to being done with Breath of the Wild that I figured I just want to give that all of my attention.
I wish I had your drive
BioShock
there.
Is,
I wish I had your drive there. So unfinished single player games I have right now: the Spyro games, Star Wars, Portal 2 since we restarted that, The Last of Us since we restarted that.
oh gosh, wow. I fall into that, like, I'll put it down for a while, and then all of a sudden 6 months go by, and I haven't picked it up. So it happens.
With my book, too.
Yes, reading, yep, that's even more so with reading. So, I mean, but, like, with BioShock, that is going to be my next adventure. I was watching on YouTube, apparently the transition over to the Nintendo Switch, when it's docked, it's at 1080p, which is great. I mean, especially compared to the first PC version, and it does run into, I guess, picture quality pacing issues is what they were talking about. So it's 1080p, but then on moments of action, it can dip into the 970s, they said, and then after action, for a split second, it'll go up to 1440, then come back down to settle into 1080p, and that's when it's docked. I'm not sure what it's like when you take it off the dock, but probably 720 maybe.
Yeah, it probably maxes at 720, I'm gonna guess, and then probably scales back to 640 or something. Hey, that's nice though, because that always is an issue when it comes to Switch games. The when we get ones from the Xbox, PC, PlayStation come over. One of the other games that just came out recently besides BioShock was The Outer Worlds, and that was a game that came out last year, and it's from what I've seen from the footage, it looks pretty rough on the Switch. It has some pretty muddy textures, and its frame rate and resolution drop a lot. So it's good to see. I mean, BioShock also, the original BioShock is over 10 years old at this point, and the all of them are around a decade old. BioShock 1 and 2 were over 10. BioShock Infinite is about 7. So I would hope that games that were running on the PS3 and the Xbox 360 can port over to the Switch well and run without too much issues. But
they said it was actually a pretty easy transition into Nintendo for the physics. They updated the physics, I guess, for the remaster that came out on the Xbox One, and then also for this remaster, I guess they said that I don't know, terms and such, the physics were also updated, so the ragdoll effect is even better. I don't know why, I just love the ragdoll effect.
Nice. Yeah, I BioShock is a game that's on my laundry list of games to do after I finish some of my single player ones. Hopefully I'll finish Spyro and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order soon, and I can move on to that, because with PlayStation Plus you get a free game each month, and the BioShock collection was free a few months ago, and so it's downloaded waiting for me to play it, but I do that, but then I just get on and I'll play Uno or Call of Duty or Battlefront with friends instead. So we'll see, maybe in some free time alone. But I did finish Avatar over the past week as well. Last week I talked about how that's what Abby and I have been doing a lot.
Finally.
Yeah, we went through all 3 seasons pretty quick though, so it was awesome.
Did you watch the live action movie?
No, I'm not gonna. No, I'm not gonna.
You want him to get cancer? That's how you get cancer.
I'm not gonna watch that horrible film. It's. I don't want to watch a movie where they mispronounce the main character. Like that's just. So, I'll stick to this. Hopefully, we'll probably do a CBS Access trial pretty soon, so we can watch Legend of Korra. But I still stand by my statement that Uncle Iroh is the best character in the show. Don't at me.
He is the most wholesome, that's for sure, except for his dark past.
Yeah, but he shows growth. And also, when him and Zuko reunite, it was so wholesome. And then when he, sings to his son on his birthday, and it's the last thing that the original voice actor recorded for him. And it just, my heart is in shambles. But, yeah, no, it was awesome. Because I mentioned it last week, too. I watched pretty much all of season 1 when it aired as a kid, and then I missed the start of season 2, and just because of since that's one that it's not like a SpongeBob where you can jump in middle of a season and not really miss anything. I didn't want to start 3 or 4 episodes into book 2 and then be confused of what's going on. So this was nice to be able to watch it all the way through, and I'll have to now watch the sequel series. But
not even kind of a hot take. This is just facts. Zuko is the greatest character arc in, I think, animated television show history.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, his arc is pretty.
But I don't support the people that think that Zuko should have ended up with Katara instead of Aang.
Yeah.
Well, those people are just wrong. Have they not seen the show?
There's a lot of people that are like, Katara should have been with Zuko. I'm like, are you joking? Are you absolutely joking?
He was terrible. It's I get Zuko changed and all that, but it's I never saw
bet
that.
Those same people also ship I'm blanking.
Who?
Brother.
What?
Katara and
Sokka?
Sokka.
Thank you. I hate when I blank on podcast.
Ship Katara and Sokka?
Yeah. I've seen that online.
That's weird.
It's cringy. DeviantArt.
That is weird.
Okay, no, just
get off DeviantArt first of all.
Yeah, DeviantArt and before Tumblr banned lewd content, those are just the places you do not go. There were so many times that I'd be looking for some nice Sonic post about how great Sonic Adventure 2 is, and then all of a sudden there'd be some lewd photo of Amy or Crash Bandicoot, and I'm just like, get this off of my computer.
Well, see,
burn it with fire.
Aang and Katara, wholesome. Zuko and Katara, problematic, and then Sokka and Katara, just inappropriate, wrong, and get it away from
Get it out of my head.
Yeah, there's so many just wrong issues. Also, all these are kids. Sokka,
right, exactly.
Sokka's 15, Zuko's 16, Katara's 14, Aang is 12. So
somebody did. I don't know what happens after I haven't watched Korra yet, but somebody, I think our friend Corey talked about that she thought that either Sokka and Toph would eventually end up together, and I was like, you know what, I kind of support that. I could see that, and I was, obviously the age difference is too much when they're kids, but maybe when they're older that could work out, and I'm like, okay, I would like that. But
Sokka doesn't have the best track record with women because they often turn into the moon.
Yeah, I hate when that happens.
It's just the worst. That's rough, buddy.
It's funny though, he had so many girls that would have wanted him. He had the thing with Sokka and with Suki. It was with Suki and with the girl who turned into the moon, who I forgot her name right now.
Right.
And then Ty Lee was in love with him too.
Yeah.
What was always so funny about the show too was how Ty Lee has these big, very anime girl eyes, and then and then May has these very small and just life is meaningless type of reaction on her face, and it always just threw me off when they're next to each other because it's just these two do not look like they're from the same show. But man,
Agreed.
Zuko did Mai dirty. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I think Mai deserved a lot better than Zuko, and
May, you mean?
May. Did I say Mai? I meant
Yeah.
May. Yeah, May deserved a lot better than Zuko. And,
Yeah, but I mean, he just is a dumb angst boy. I mean, just like
Yeah,
she's
but-
she's an angsty girl too. But
yeah. But I mean, I definitely I'm glad that he got the growth and redemption that he earned. But still, I think that he did a lot of people wrong, and Katara and May are some of them.
When this is a spoiler alert, but the show has been out for a very long time, so I don't care.
Over a decade.
Yeah.
the show ended 12 years ago.
Zuko was what was he? Is he like gonna kill Appa or something like that? Or like kidnap Appa or something like that when he's in the prison underground in the
Ba
lake,
Sing Se.
Lake Laogai. And then Uncle Iroh stops him. That was one of the most, I don't know, passionate, like heart-wrenching speeches that Iroh was screaming at Zuko. Just like,
One of
"Get
the
it
many.
through your head. You have to decide who you are and what you want." And I was just like, I know.
Feels.
Yeah, no, Zuko and Iroh's relationship's great because Iroh is the dad that Zuko always wanted, and then Zuko is basically a second son to Iroh after he lost his actual biological son. Great show, fantastic. Cannot recommend it enough. But moving on to some news topics going on in the Nerd News Now world. The death of George Floyd has had a pretty big impact on the world in general, but we've seen it seep into the nerd culture with a lot of things getting delayed, going offline / off the air. So some of the examples we've seen have included Fortnite and Call of Duty both delayed the start of their new seasons of content. So the map updates and the new weapons and all that were supposed to launch this past week have been delayed indefinitely. Call of Duty has replaced the loading screen image. Instead of showing a picture of the map, it has a text that talks about how Black Lives Matter and how it's important. We have seen a bunch of delays. Sony delayed the PlayStation 5 reveal that's supposed to be this past week. A lot of the E3 replacements like IGN Summer of Gaming, the PC Gaming Show, EA Play, and much more have been pushed back a few days. One of the big ones too, Nickelodeon actually went offline for 8 minutes and 46 seconds and just had to think about how Black Lives Matter. We've seen a bunch of online game servers shut down for a period of time, especially in the GTA and Red Dead Redemption. One of the other big ones we got to was NBA 2K20 gave away free digital shirts that players' avatars could wear in the hub area that they can explore, saying stuff like Black Lives Matter, I can't breathe, and say their names. So we did have a tweet that went up the day before we recorded this about how this podcast does stand for inclusivity and that Black Lives do matter as well. But what are you guys' thoughts then on how this death and the response has now led to a reaction even in the nerd world to stuff like Call of Duty and Fortnite, stuff that we probably wouldn't have expected to happen when we first saw the videos and reports about George Floyd's death. But what are you guys' thoughts then so far on what all this has meant in the nerd world?
I think it's a good reminder of what is more important right now. And obviously we all want these games to come out. We hate that that there's been, I guess, a pushback for all of these things, but it does push forward to light this situation, which is affecting people in the real world. And it doesn't matter if Nickelodeon goes off for 8 minutes and 46 seconds because nobody's life is at stake or anything like that. And I like NBA 2K20 that I just love that they can put this important message into games that people love and millions of people are going to play. And so I think it's just a good reminder of priorities.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this is definitely something that's long overdue, and a lot of us kind of the three of us at least, we have a lot of reason to not think about it every day until recently, but it's definitely something that gives more people the idea and the perspective of what exactly is happening every day that's just not okay. And I'm glad to see a lot of people are coming together from all sides, all races are coming together, and we're standing by Black Lives Matter, because it is very important, and if that can reach into every element, black people are people too, so there's black nerds out there that want to have that inclusivity even in video game world too. So there's it's not just going to reach any one element, but it's going to reach inclusivity in nerd culture as well, in TVs and video games and movies, which I think we've noticed for a while has been vastly underrepresented forever.
I think it was John from Game Explain tweeted out a picture talking about how in Smash there's no black characters you can play as outside of skins for Villager and Inklings. So like there's you can't play, and I'm trying to think of too some big name black characters in some games like that. It's hard to even think of some big name ones. Like, oh well, where are they? Like, where? Okay, we'll put in this guy or that guy. Like, there's just not a whole lot in there, and that's just an
there's
issue
a
in
few
general.
others, like Pokemon Trainer gets there's a black skin for Pokemon Trainer, and I believe there's a darker skin tone for Dark Pit. But they're all skins, like you said. Like, there's no original character that is black, and so it's just kind of like I'm even having trouble finding a character, like thinking of a character that's not white outside of any like Fire Emblem characters,
Yeah.
So
because it's hard to think. Because I'm trying to think of too, just in like there obviously are ones, but it's in ones that are not from other territories, like other forms of media. Like we can have the Green Lantern or Blade or something like that, but I can't think of even someone they could add outside of Arms. What's Twintel? Is that what her name is?
Twintel, yeah.
Outside of like Twintel, there's not a whole lot of people of color characters I can think of even that.
Well, and we the three of us had a conversation earlier in the week that we discussed with the Arms character not yet being shown. If with everything that's happening, if Nintendo had not planned or has not planned for Twintel to be that character, this might be the opportunity to switch what they were doing and change. I mean, I know that's going to be a lot of work, but it's definitely worth it, because I don't think I would imagine that the moveset would be essentially the same regardless of who the Arms character is. It would just be a skin difference. So if they're not already including Twintel, who's the only black character in the no, actually, I believe Misongo is also. If they're not going to include a black character when they're given a very good opportunity to do so, then they might want to consider changing their mind.
At the very least, not include a white character.
Well, or
include an inhuman character.
Like at the very least, if they do decide to release, let's say it's Max Brass and Ribbon Girl or whoever, then maybe say we also plan to release Twintel in a few weeks once we get her out and we can, have the time to make her and send her out. Like, that'd be fine as long as they say they're working on it. That would be something good. That would be a good opportunity to finally have somebody like that. But
yeah, because I found a list. It has a bunch of black video game characters, and it's like and just some of these it's a lot of secondary and minor characters, but like, and then ones that would fit in Smash, there's not a whole lot that would work, because it's
when we have the Piranha Plant in Smash Bros, we can get a black character in Smash Bros.
Exactly.
Agreed.
But it's one of those that, so it's like, obviously, like, there's Black Panther and there's Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, who's been in games, like we see them in there, or Blade. But in terms of like important characters from their series, one of the only ones I can really see that like has chances is Alex from Half-Life, who is black and Asian mixed. And so on top of so you have CJ from San Andreas, and that's about it, because you have like Doomfist and some other characters from Overwatch, and you have a few different characters from different other ones, but like we're not gonna see Henry and Sam from The Last of Us be included into Smash Brothers, or Griggs from Call of Duty 4. It's one of those that there just really isn't a whole lot. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of options outside of bringing in Mortal Kombat characters, and I don't think we're going to see a Mortal Kombat character added to Smash. Maybe, but a lot of the ones left are either real people or comic book characters, or they're ones that it just doesn't seem like one that would be in Smash because of what game series they're from, and that's just unfortunate.
I don't think that the lack of black representation in Smash Bros. Necessarily is a reflection on Smash Bros. I think it's more a reflection on video games in general, because like I said, the ARMS character is one rare example where it doesn't really matter what character is in it as long as it's a character that people like. So that's a good opportunity to bring any character that you would want into it. But not every main character, in fact, very rarely is a main character a character of color. So that's why there's so few of them, or none of them, in Smash Bros. Because video games just are very underrepresented when it comes to characters of color. So I don't really know. Like you said, the Sam and from Last of Us, what was it? Sam and
Henry and Sam. It's like they're
Henry and Sam. Like they would never be in Smash Bros.
They're such minor characters, yeah.
Right, but Ellie or Joel could be. I mean, they probably won't, but they could be. And so that's kind of where it's like there's so many characters that just aren't given the opportunity with the games that are made. So what is Nintendo going to do about it?
I think you brought up a great point earlier when you brought up the Piranha Plant, but they also did Isabella too, and they haven't done a character of color, and so they
but like you said too,
when
how much
give
of that
minor characters a chance, it's not a character of color.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess another one they could do is they could put Matt in from Wii Sports, but
who?
Remember the bald guy that is like the hardest one to fight in boxing?
Yes. Yeah, I forgot about him. but actually, that would be a good opportunity.
But it's like, honestly, if they really wanted to put in if they want to do the whole thing of these characters are important to video games, and they started from video games, so you're not going to have Black Panther, 50 Cent, Michael Jordan, then really their best bet is CJ from San Andreas. But also, like, it's hard to see. It's hard. I don't know what they would do outside of giving him like guns to. And I don't know. You can put CJ in as a character and have him like stand apart, but like he is the only person I can think of out of any black video game character that's like a major character that even has a chance to be added. And it's like, what do you do with them?
Right.
So, but. So it's more just an issue just with the video game culture as a whole, and hopefully now with this we can start to see some more. Just like we have seen a change where we have some more female representation. Where hey, here's a game where you play as a female main character, or here's one that's you can with the new Cyberpunk you can be gender fluid and stuff like that, just stuff to work to having more inclusivity for the gaming world. But moving on, this was a little fun one. IGN has been doing a fan vote to determine the best Star Wars characters of all time now that Clone Wars finished up, and the first wave of the Disney content has sort of started to wind down. And so Darth Vader, separate from Anakin, was voted number 1. Obi-Wan Kenobi was number 2, Luke Skywalker was 3, Han Solo was 4, Yoda was 5, Darth Vader was 6, Leia Organa was 7.
Darth Maul was 6.
Who did I say?
Right? You said Darth Vader.
Yeah, Darth Maul. Yeah, whoops. Darth Maul was 6, Leia was 7, R2-D2 was 8, Palpatine was 9, and Chewbacca was 10. And there's some other ones that stood out throughout there. But what were you guys' thoughts on this top 10? And there's sure I would have had a couple guys higher and lower, but these 10 names as a whole, when you think of some of the best characters in Star Wars, are movies, video games, everything. Are these, in your opinion, some of the 10 best characters in the series?
Yeah, this list does not shock me.
I think Darth Maul shocks me a little bit. Because being number 6 is just a little surprising, being so high. But I mean, other than that, I see Baby Yoda is number 16, Rey is number 33, which kind of shocks me for being not high enough. But
I think part of that just comes from people's
closer to 1, I should say.
Yeah, people's disdain from the sequel trilogy. Yeah, because some of the others of note, Anakin, separate from Vader, was 11. The Mandalorian was 14, Baby Yoda was 16, Rey was 33, But one that really that made me laugh was the first stormtrooper that banged his head in episode 4 was 60. So he was ahead of people like Snoke and Jar Jar Binks, and so it's just like a random one-off like gag was in the top 30% of characters on this list because they did up to 200, and it's just like really, but yeah, the Darth Maul one I think is more of just how they treated him all post episode 1 because episode 1 he looked so cool and then you thought he died, and then with him coming back in Clone Wars and him playing a big part in that, him playing a part in Rebels and making his appearance in Solo, I think that was a big one where it brought the interest back into him because like Boba Fett was up pretty high too. He was, I want to say 13, but that was more of just one where it's just because it was just like the lore behind like, oh, Boba Fett's so cool. Like even though in the movies Boba Fett sucks, but
it's the I mean, what do you guys think of lists like this in total when people try to come up with the best of something and the best of this because it's so subjective? Do you think that there are characters who deserve to be in the top 10 that aren't, or do you think the top 10 should have been rearranged?
I think this is a good top 10. Like obviously there's ones that I would throw in, and so what they did, it was the winning percentage of the duels they would win. And so the difference between Darth Vader at 1 and so Darth Vader to 1 won 86.9% of his wins, where Obi-Wan was 81.1. But like the difference between like Palpatine at 9 and Chewbacca at 10 was Palpatine was at 55.5 and Chewbacca was at 55.1%. So it's like,
oh, wow,
it's one of those, like you can interchange some of these with only like a few percent. Like the biggest gap between a number was Yoda at 5 to Darth Maul at 6. Yoda was 73.4 and Darth Maul was 59.8. So, so you have almost 15% difference where it's only about a 4 or 5% with some of the other ones. But I did, because like some of the other ones that were a little bit lower that I think deserved to be higher was K2 from Rogue One. Yeah, Rey at 33 is pretty low. I get that like there's obviously issues with the sequel trilogy, but also like she was one of the better characters, even if at times they didn't treat her right either. But she was there. One of the other ones that was a little low that I was surprised about, Jyn Erso was 27, Padme was 28. I can't remember how to pronounce his actual name, but in Rogue One, the blind warrior, the one that says "I am one with the Force is with me," he was 32. Yes. Like
wow,
like that. He was one of the favorite characters from that. Poe Dameron was 41. So it's just crazy. Or another good one. So we saw Moff Gideon at the end of the first season of Mandalorian, and he was ahead of Kit Fisto and Bail Organa and Ki-Adi-Mundi, Shakti, Finn, like characters that did a lot more in the lore we already have. And so it's just crazy that like, and I get to like he's a cool villain, the brief time that we got to see him, but like, is he really already better than Watto or Shmi Skywalker? So
what was the other criteria for the list aside from fighting?
So it was mainly just they would have a fan vote, and so the fans would determine who the best characters are. So
okay,
it was more just that. It was more just fun to see who people thought was the best, and not surprising too. The original trilogy is very heavily making up the top 10 because you have the only characters not from the original trilogy in the top 10 is Darth Maul, and while the picture they used for Obi-Wan Kenobi and the more the focus was prequel Obi-Wan Kenobi, like they were mainly focusing on original trilogy Yoda, original trilogy Chewbacca, original trilogy Obi-Wan Kenobi, not prequel and sequel trilogies. But it definitely was interesting to see. Like all fan votes, there are obviously you can nitpick a lot of different stuff on it, but it was one that I was not mad about the top 10 as much as I thought I'd be when I saw that they were doing this.
Yeah, I think the numbers of some of them are more surprising, but I get it. I get people didn't like I get why people don't like Rey, or Rey was just maybe she was a great character, but the movies she starred in are holding her back.
Yeah, that could be it. But yeah, so that would wrap up our brief nerd news now, even though we kind of went on a little bit of a talk about obviously stuff. But I did want to quickly do another edition of Luke Lament, because Sega had been teasing for the last few weeks that there's going to be some sort of big announcement coming, some sort of big announcement with the company turning 60, and what we got was a miniaturized version of the Game Gear, the portable console that was supposed to compete with the Game Boy. But its big thing to compete with the Game Boy is that it was in a full color backlit screen, so it had that over the Game Boy. But because it was full color and backlit, it drained batteries like nobody's business, and so then it ended up losing out pretty badly to the Game Boy. So they brought it back. And so there's 4 micros you can get. You can get it in black, blue, yellow, and red. And then each one of them comes with a set of 4 Game Gear games on it that you can play. And so they're going to be emulated, and it's gonna probably run pretty well, because they're having their in-house emulation team that goes and does all of the more recent emulations on the collections and the Sega Ages ports on Switch. So these games are probably going to run well, but was this really necessary to tease this much? And then it's like, hey, because it's like you're getting the black one comes with Sonic the Hedgehog, Puyo Puyo, Outrun, and Royal Stone. The blue one comes with Sonic Chaos, which was called Sonic and Tails in Japan, Gunstar Heroes, Sylvian Tale, and Baku Baku Animal World Zookeeper Championship, and just like a bunch of just stuff like that. Like one of them is a bunch of Shining Force games, and I just was surprised that they made a big deal, and you have to spend about $45-50 per system to get 16 early 90s 8-bit portable games. Like it's like, come on, Sega. Like, why? Like, it's a cool idea, and at $45, that's not a terrible price. And like, if they come over to America, yeah, sure, that's cool. But like, it's just a bummer that they hyped this up so much, and it's just a big letdown.
When I heard this for the first time, I thought it was a joke. Like after knowing everything that they'd like hyped up for so long, I was expecting, I don't know, I mean, I wasn't expecting like something that was colossal, like huge, but I was expecting more than this. And when they said this, I genuinely thought that this was some kind of like, I had to check because I was like I wasn't sure. I mean, it's kind of a weird time and feeling like every day we're in a time warp. So I was like, is this an April Fool's joke? I wasn't really sure, like an April Fool's joke in like June. Like I didn't know what was going on. So when everyone was talking about how disappointed they were, I was like, oh, so this is a real thing and this really exists. And okay, nobody was asking for it. Nobody, and now that it's here, nobody's really that thrilled that it's here. So I don't know. It's just it seemed like a very very much of a letdown, and I think the only way they could have not let down people is if they just didn't talk about it before they didn't hype it up at all.
They dropped this out of the blue, and I was like, oh, cool. I don't need it, but cool. Like,
right.
Especially
but now it's actually with the disappointment comes anger as well.
Right. Yeah. Like if it's something this big, don't pretend it's a bigger deal than it is.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the bigger deal is that this just like the Genesis Mini that came out last fall is the first time that we've seen Sega officially release some sort of console, even if it is a retro console, because they got out of the game with the Dreamcast in 2001 and they haven't put out one since. And so I guess them sort of getting back into the console market is sort of a big deal, but like when they're just ports and collections of their classics, not actual new hardware, then it's still just disappointing. It just was a bummer. And the 8-bit Sonic games, while they're inferior to the 16-bit ones, still are fun, and Puyo Puyo is a fun game and all that. But I just don't think that this, like I said, Sega drops this out of the blue. It would have went over a lot better than what would have happened with them hyping it up.
For sure.
So now we can move on then into our topic of the week. We, as we mentioned a little bit with the with what's happened with the death of George Floyd, we've seen a lot of the E3 replacements like Summer of Gaming and EA Play get pushed back. But we are in the point now where we're getting our E3 replacement stuff. So we're basically in the E3 season right now, even though there's no E3 as it was canceled from the pandemic. And so I thought it'd be good. We could, kind of go over some things we want to see and things we're excited about with the E3 season. So first, what are some things you guys are most excited to see of stuff that's already been announced, like us getting new information maybe for Breath of the Wild or the ARMS character or something like that?
So for me, whenever there's a new game that comes out, whether it's a full game or DLC or extra content, whatever, I like to, if it's something that I want, then I'll put it in my phone as like a little calendar to know exactly what's coming out, when it's coming out, and basically when am I going to need to pay for something. Upcoming, we have the Smash Brothers Fighter, and I'm really excited about that for the ARMS character that's going to come out. Like we talked about earlier, we're still not sure which character it's going to be. I think Min Min and Max Brass have the most likely chances at this point, but I mean it's up in the air, so we really don't know. I've already paid for that, so I'm excited about that. There's a Pokemon DLC, the Isle of Armor, that just got a full release trailer and a release date that is now officially coming out on June 17th. So by the time that this this video airs, it'll be just a few days away. June 23rd, SpongeBob is coming.
That's the day after my birthday.
It is. And then the biggest thing that I want to see is the one that I'm most excited about is Paper Mario: The Origami King. Other than that, I mean that's the only SpongeBob's coming out, and that's a re-release or remake, remaster, I guess, or rehydrated, I should say. But Paper Mario is the only full new game that's coming out anytime soon that I'm really excited about. So I'm just looking forward to that, because kind of how I'm feeling with Xenoblade right now, where I get to experience something brand new. I've always been a big fan of the Paper Mario series, and more so in the early life, as we've talked about before and a lot of other people talk about, than recent titles. But I'm hoping that this one is a return to form with the Paper Mario series, and Origami King looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It looks like it's bringing that adventure style back, and I'm hoping that they bring back the humor and the fun gameplay as well. So, but we'll see. That comes out July 17th, so right around my birthday.
Nice. What about you, Connor? Is there anything that you can think of a game or an expansion that is coming that you're excited for?
I was actually really excited for SpongeBob and Paper Mario the most. John already touched on them. I would like some more information about Breath of the Wild 2. That would be really great. But we know nothing about that, and we will continue to know nothing about that. My guess is we're not going to get anything for that.
Been 1 year, any day now. If it's been 1 year after the trailer came out from last
for
E3
the sequel, yeah. I bet if we would have got an official Nintendo Direct during the E3 time, we might have maybe got something else. But
for sure,
with no planned Direct, and we're just gonna get some of this more Nintendo stuff just as shadow drop trailers. I think we're gonna get probably nothing for whatever they're gonna do with the sequel to Breath of the Wild. Because it's not technically Breath of the Wild 2. They could call it something else. But
do you guys think that we're gonna see that in 2020?
No.
No,
I don't think we were going to see it in 2020 before this all happened. Definitely not now. It's one of those.
Yeah, that's true.
I bet a lot of the more of the stuff we're going to be seeing from Nintendo in 2020 that hasn't been announced is going to be more on the side of ports and remasters and ports, or ones that they don't need as much time to make. Like throwing together a new Mario Golf game is not going to be as expansive as a new Zelda game in the same vein as Breath of the Wild. Even if they have
just as much money on a Mario Golf game that I would on Breath of the Wild sequel.
But it's like I bet we can go into a little later too on some like predictions we'd have, but like I wouldn't be surprised if, because of what's going on, if like even if we don't get it around now in the quote E3 season, if we get some sort of Mario sport game revealed soon. But yeah, for me, the one I'm most excited about would probably be finding more info about the Tony Hawk remaster. There's not a whole lot of there's not a whole lot of big games that are announced right now that I can think of, because I'm not a big Assassin's Creed guy. We haven't officially had the new Call of Duty announced, so
Last of Us Part 2.
yeah, but that's coming out, so there's not really much. Like, it's the point where they're not gonna reveal new stuff because the game's out in by the time this episode airs, it'll be out like later that week, and so it's one of those that I'm like, do I really need something like that? Because
like so close, you can't expect more information.
Yeah, we'll get one final trailer for Ghost of Tsushima, but the big one I'm excited about is the Tony Hawk remaster, since I know about that, and so
I never played the Tony Hawk games, but I'm actually interested in getting it myself because I want to see what all the hype is about. And with so few other titles to get this year, I think I might as well dive into it.
Bumped up.
It's like usually that would be like number 17 or 18 on my list. Now it's like 3.
For the theme of video games for 2020, it should just be, why not?
Right, exactly.
All right.
I don't need it.
It's like because it's another one I forgot to Lego Star Wars the Skywalker Saga. I would like to see some more info for that.
Sure.
I've been excited.
Star Wars fan, so it makes perfect sense.
And dude, the Lego Star Wars games are so much fun, and so I am very excited to see what is that actually too. Apparently one of the special editions of the game comes in a steel box, and the cover of it is Han Solo frozen in carbonite. So that's pretty fun.
Oh, wow.
So hopefully we get some more info on that too. There's been a lot of, speculation and rumors that it's coming out in October, and that it's going to have like 500 characters. So I am very excited to see what comes with that. But yeah, there's just not a whole lot coming. So like it's a lot more of like, oh, I hope we get an announcement for this game or that game. But yeah, out of big games coming out, the Avengers game, yeah, maybe I'll get it if it it's gonna get some good reviews. Cyberpunk, sure, but yeah, it's like SpongeBob and The Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima are like some of the only games I'm like, yeah, I'm excited about this. But oh well. And then another one too is, so we did already have the PlayStation reveal get delayed with what's been going on, but do you think when we do get the PlayStation reveal and when Microsoft does their summer announcement, do you think we will actually get the release dates and price tags for the PlayStation and the Xbox, or do you think we're just going to get some information and they'll trickle more of that out as we get closer and closer?
I think it's more likely they'll trickle it out.
I don't know. I'm torn because I don't. With so little information known, it's hard to know if that means that they aren't ready to share it yet, or if they're just or if they just don't have it themselves yet. Like I don't know. Obviously, the COVID pandemic is affecting everything, so it's hard to tell if they got enough of it out to announce anything this month, or if they're gonna wait until fall. But
I mean, as not a marketing expert, I don't know what's the proper amount of time to give a fan base for
I guess,
prices.
Because we officially got the Switch full announcement of what the Switch actually is October, and it came out that March. I don't remember if they gave the price when that was announced. Because
I don't think so.
What Sony did with the PS4 is they announced the PS4. And they showed the controller and gameplay in February 2013, and then at E3 and some of the other summer conferences, that's where they gave more of the info of the price tag and the release date. And so it was about 3 or 4 events when we finally got everything. Okay, it's it can play these type of games. It will come out. It'll be $400. It'll be this day. And so, but like with PlayStation, we only have a little bit of what it can do with the groundwork. We don't have what it's going to have with like the appearance or any remote idea of cost. So, Yeah, there's just not a whole lot. Like I found a list on Game Informer, and September is the last month that we officially have release dates announced for. Like everything else, everything after September, it's under holiday 2020. Because like we'll get Assassin's Creed Valhalla probably October, November. We'll get Call of Duty, even though it hasn't been officially announced. We'll get the Call of Duty game at that point. The Doom Eternal port to the Switch, but like FIFA and Madden, like those are going to come out at some point in the fall, but we don't know when we're actually getting some of these other games just yet. So hopefully we get more of that information.
What do you think is a realistic price tag for the Xbox and the PlayStation?
I think we're going to be looking right around $500. That's one that it's at about $500. That's so that'd be about that's $200 more than what like a lot of them are selling for. I want to say the PS4 Pro goes for $300 to $400. Let me check real fast. Yeah, the PS4 Pro is going for $300. Yeah, so the PS4 Pro goes for $400. So that'd be $100 more than the Pro, and the Xbox Series X. That's $200 more than the Switch, than the PS4 Slim and the Xbox One S. So it's one of those that it's 500. I think is a good peak. If you go anything above that, then it's going to have some issues, because we saw that with the PS3 when it was launching for $600, that people would want to do it. So I bet 450, 500 is a sweet spot, because it's one of those that people still would kind of shy away from it, especially since we have had a lot of unemployment throughout the world. But if they go really above 500, or if there's a big gap between the two, like we saw with last generation with the PS4 and the Xbox One, with the PS4 launching at 400 and the Xbox launching at 500, we could see some pushback on whichever one's more expensive. Either way, they're going to lose money these first few years because of all the hardware in it, but they're going to make up for it because they know, okay, we'll lose. Like Nintendo lost a lot of money the first couple years of the Switch, but because Breath of the Wild was selling more copies than Switches, and stuff like that, they made a lot of that money back. So,
What are you willing to pay for the new PlayStation?
About 500, I think, is about where I would max out as well. Because once you get $600-700, it's like
you get a computer at this
it's
point.
you can build a PC, like a decent PC for roughly that same price. Like, and probably even one even better if you can find the right stuff. So it's like So I think about 500 will be about my max that I would be wanting to pay to get it day one. So, but we'll see. There's still time. They can maybe convince me to pay 550, but yeah, hopefully it's in that 450, 500 range max. But moving on to then some predictions and some dream announcements. What are some realistic predictions that you think we'll be getting? One of mine is we're gonna get a new Crash Bandicoot game announced. It's one of those with how successful Insane Trilogy, the Spyro Reignited Trilogy, and Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled all were. We're going to get something. And Crash Bash and Crash to Insanity and all that, like those games don't need to be remade. We need a new one. So it'd be nice to see a sequel, a Crash 4 or some sort of brand new Crash game. So that would be mine. Do you have one, Johnny, that you really think is like a realistic prediction?
Yeah, as far as realistic goes, I mean, with all the talk of the Mario remastered versions of Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, Galaxy, and Galaxy 2, I'm hoping that that's exactly what's going to be released on the Switch sometime, either late summer or fall, because I went back about 4 or 5 years ago and I replayed the Super Mario 64 on the Wii U Game Store. And I would love to do that in a remastered version. And you guys both know that Sunshine is one of my favorite Mario games of all time. And I would love to see that remastered. And even though it's my favorite, I haven't had access to a GameCube in like over a decade. So to be able to replay Sunshine, actually, I'm looking at Connor's GameCube right now. So I'm going to steal that on my way out. But I would love to replay Super Mario Sunshine, and if they give a remastered version on the Switch, I would buy that so quickly. And everybody talks about how Galaxy and Galaxy 2 are a lot of other people's favorite Mario games of all time. And I never really got into it too much. I don't really know why, but I would love to have the opportunity to go back and give it another shot, give both of them a shot. Yeah, I'd love to play all of those games again and just get another chance to re-experience the older ones and experience the newer ones for the first time.
For sure.
Sorry,
What about
some background noise.
what's you, Connor? Is there what's a kind of a more of a realistic prediction you think we'd see as well, like the Mario rumors or a Crash Bandicoot?
I was actually going to say Crash Bandicoot, but you beat me to it. I think that would be realistic. And I was going to bring up the success of Insane Trilogy for that. Plus that's what I want. That's the one game I grew up with, and I would be really, really disappointed with a remaster. We need an original game.
Well, there's not really anything good to go off of a remaster, because the issue you run into is Crash Bash doesn't have enough content to hold itself as a remaster, and if they wanted to pull the CTR route and then throw in the spiritual successor party game, Boom Bang is not good. So it's one of those that it would just be a really, really poor Mario Party ripoff, even more than it already was. And like Wrath of Cortex, Twin Sanity, they just don't hold the same light as 1, 2, 3 and CTR do. So and then after that you get to just a huge mixed bag with the spin-offs and the Crash the Titans games and all that. So it's better just to do a new game completely. Vicarious Visions made they made their own level with the Future Tense bonus level in the game, and that plays pretty well. And while they went and just copy pasted it from the PlayStation games, they had to rebuild everything from the ground up. So it's one that they know how to make these things, and with their one original level, it turned out well. So I think they could make a full game and it would turn out well.
Yes, and I'd be shelling out for it instantly.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that would be it. And there's only a few games right now. I'll probably get the new Call of Duty, even though each year I try to not buy it. But the Mario ports and then any Sonic announcement and Crash announcement are really the only ones that after The Last of Us comes out that I know will be day one purchases. And so we'll see that. What about
Connor? Just real quick, Connor, out of curiosity, if the as of now, unannounced Super Mario Remastered 64 Sunshine Galaxy 2 bundle comes out, would you get it?
I would get that. Yes, I would get that.
Cool.
It's not nothing I grew up with, but M grew up with Mario as well, and plus it's you have been such an influence on me for Nintendo that I would want to try to capture some of that magic, even if it's not childhood memories.
Super Mario Sunshine begins with Mario getting thrown into prison, so I think that it's definitely...
Oh no.
Oh no.
While we're on Mario references.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's definitely a game worth getting. Any game that Mario goes to prison is a game worth buying.
I had no... Never mind.
Oh. Okay.
And then what about some more, I guess, dream announcements? So these are ones that they don't have to be really rooted in realism. It would have been saying last year, oh, I hope we get a Mario 64 port, a Mario 64 remake to the Switch, where that wasn't as in the limelight. Is there really anything you can think of, whether it's a sequel, a port, or some sort of new game, Nintendo makes a game where we have a female person of color as the main character?
For me personally, when it comes to dream announcements, there's kind of the I guess there's different elements of what makes a dream announcement. But for me personally, I would love to see. I'm not saying anything new, but you guys know I would love to see a new Banjo-Kazooie game. I think that there's a chance that could happen. I'm not convinced that it's going to happen right now. I think that maybe 2 or 3 years from now, it's got a better chance because of all the hype that's happened from Banjo and Smash. I'm hoping that Microsoft noticed that and they can make a Banjo 3 that was promised 20 years ago.
Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts too.
No.
Oh my god! Oh, if they did that,
I would die.
you buy it and then die.
Yeah, but yeah, if they make a true Banjo 3E that at the end of Banjo 2E was promised to us, then I would be really happy about that. But as far as other kinds of dream announcements, I would really want to see a Super Smash Bros. Kart game, some Super Nintendo Bros. Kart game. I don't know, Nintendo Kart basically. Link from Legend of Zelda, the Inklings from Splatoon, and the Villager and Isabelle were all
In Mario Kart 8.
the newest. We're in Mario Kart 8, yeah. So I would love to see Pikachu or Kirby, riding around as well. It would be so cute. And so yeah, that'd be probably my one of my dream announcements.
How do they reach the gas pedal?
That's a good question, but yeah, it'd be. I mean, you'd obviously have carts or tracks from different games. You'd have items from different games. You would have, even I would love to have a story mode that Diddy Kong Racing perfected 20 years ago, and Mario Kart has yet to do even now. I'm not bitter. But yeah, I mean, there's so many elements that could be done and could be done easily, but they just haven't yet, and so it's kind of a shock that it hasn't happened yet. But I think honestly, with how popular Mario Kart 8 is at this point, I don't see how they could top themselves with a Mario Kart 9 that's exclusive to Mario characters. Even if they bring back Link and the Inklings and the Animal Crossing characters, if it's like a few extra characters from Nintendo, that's not going to do it. It's not going to cut it. The only way to top what they've already done is to go one step further and just go all in and say goodbye to Mario Kart and just stick with a full-on Nintendo cast of characters. That also gives them the opportunity to finally get rid of some of the characters that do not belong there. As much as I love Larry in the Koopalings, I don't think the Koopalings need to be there.
Or Rose Gold Peach, or Cat
Pink Gold
Peach.
Peach and Cat Peach and Tanuki
Baby
Mario
Peach
and Metal Mario and Baby Rosalina and Baby Daisy and
I mean, what's that phrase about finding a dead horse? Beat the crap out of it,
right? Exactly, yeah. Like it's if we have like a 30 character roster, then maybe have 6 or 7 of them be Mario characters, and then fill out the rest with Zelda and Pokemon and Kirby and Donkey Kong and anybody else really.
And they can pull like what Sonic did with Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing, where it's another one where it's just like we're getting rid of Larry and Rose Gold Peach, but then we're gonna have some other random ones where it's just like, why are they here? Like how you can play as Danica Patrick on Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed, or the Team Fortress characters, or Football Manager. It's just like, oh okay, sure.
Banjo and Kazooie were in that game.
They were in the original, yeah. Wreck-It Ralph
they deserve
is
to be more in that one than they did in Nuts and Bolts. So
yeah, Wreck-It Ralph was in All Stars Racing Transformed, which I will die on the hill that is up there with Diddy Kong Racing and Crash Team Racing as one of the greatest kart racing games that does not have the Mario Kart title to it. But yeah, it's a fun one. But yeah,
stamp of approval.
Well, I mean, honestly, you could have just ended it there without saying anything about Mario Kart, because you don't need to include Mario Kart to say that anything else beats Mario Kart. I think that the newest one is great. Don't get me wrong, but I think a lot of the older ones like 64 and Double Dash are very much overhyped.
Well, the issue is just that people will they'll see they would see Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed, and they're like, oh, this is just a Mario Kart clone, or Crash Team Racing. Oh, this is just Mario Kart with Crash characters, and it's like, in a sense, sure, but there's so much more to those games that set them apart with the story modes or with the different mechanics that they have. Like with Transformed, it had the Transformed mechanics before we had the glider and the underwater and anti-gravity in Mario Kart 7 and 8. So, but
I've played the original Transformed game, or the original whatever it was called in the Xbox 360. The
All-Star, Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, not Transformed. I played that one, and I've played TSR, and I think TSR is, it's my favorite Sonic. It's one of my favorite Sonic games I've played pretty much ever, because I just love it. I think it's a lot of fun. But I think it's definitely better than a lot of Mario Kart. I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is better than TSR, but I think that TSR beats almost every other Mario Kart game.
Ooh, bold statement there from Johnny. But yeah, I mean,
Mario Kart 64 sucks, just saying. It was good 15, 20 years ago. It's not good now.
Oof, got him. But so for
You get stabbed.
probably my dream one, it's hard because I would say it's something Sonic, but I feel like after Sega said something about how they're going to let the developers take their time, we're not going to see anything announced just yet. And so I would have said Sonic, but I guess I can continue the kart racing idea. Not as much of a Smash Kart, but maybe a Mario Kart 9 announcement, and I guess it could kind of be a Smash Kart in that as well. But I've said it before on this podcast, and to you guys, we've been talking. One of the big ones I want with a Mario Kart 9 or whatever they want to call it is taking the idea from Smash Ultimate and then just bringing everyone back. It's like, yeah, sure, we don't need Larry and 6 baby characters, but also just for fun, let's make a Mario Kart game where it does have everyone back. So you do have Diddy Kong racing again and Funky Kong in there, but then you also have Shy Guy and the Wiggler and Rob and all these other random characters that are in one-off Mario Kart games. Like, put them in there, let them be playable, have every single track back from Super Mario Kart up to Mario Kart 8, and it's like that game would just be massive. Think about all those tracks you'd have. You'd have over 100 tracks. You'd have a bunch of characters.
I would argue that with Smash Bros, the appeal for that was that there were so many different playstyles with the different characters that they were bringing back, like Young Link, Pichu, Wolf, and Roy, and a bunch of others. But with Mario Kart, there are definitely characters that got left behind in previous Mario Karts that weren't in the newest installment, but I think that there's fewer characters that people loved that could return than there are current characters in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that need to be shelved and never brought back ever again.
It's like, it's really only about Diddy. Sorry, go ahead.
No, well, I think that if you brought those characters like Diddy and Funky, and I mean, I don't like Birdo, but she definitely belongs there more than any of the Koopalings, and a few others. I think if you did that and brought in old tracks, like you said, maybe double the amount, like instead of the regular 16, you bring back 32 classic tracks. I think that would be great, but bring back the characters that people actually want, and Nintendo needs to show that they're actually listening to us, and get rid of the characters that we don't want, because I don't want this to be another Mario Party 10, which is after Mario Party 9, people said that they didn't want the vehicle transportation, and then Nintendo's like, oh, I hear you. You don't like that? Okay, let's have another game with it.
Yeah. but because it just like there's like 2000, I want to say 2022 will be when the series turns 30, and there's just so many iconic tracks throughout the game that okay, they had it as the retro track in Mario Kart DS or in Mario Kart Wii, and so they haven't been back in a game in quite some time. Like at this point, there's only one Mario 64 track that has not been remade in any of the sequels since we started getting retro tracks.
Really?
Yeah, I can't. Huh. It's I can't remember which one it is, but it like we have almost all of those back. But it'd be nice just to get all of the tracks that we've had, because that's more the thing. Like all the characters thing would be nice, because it's like, hey, like let's throw Birdo back in, throw this, but yeah, like we don't need to have all the Koopalings or Rob and all them back, but it would be nice to see back having all these tracks, because it'd be fun to see, especially if they did it like they did in Mario Kart 8, where they do take the same tracks and they update them to graphically and maybe change a couple things around. But yeah, Wario Stadium is the only one that's not returned.
Weird, huh? That's one of the best ones.
Yeah, because Luigi Raceway is in Mario Kart 7, Moo Moo Farms is in DS, Koopa Troopa Beach is in 7, Calamari Desert's in 7, Toad's Turnpike is in 8, Frappe Snowland is in DS, Choco Mountain's in DS, Mario Raceway is in Wii, Bowser Castle's in Wii, Royal Raceway is in 8, Sherbert Land is in Wii, Jungle Parkway is in Wii, Yoshi Valley is in 8, Banshee Boardwalk is in DS, and Rainbow Road is in Mario Kart 8.
Well, yeah, I definitely. I mean, there's definitely characters that need to come back, but there's definitely characters that never need to come back ever again. Like, honestly, Baby Mario and Baby Luigi, they are. I mean, one could argue maybe they're iconic, sure, but if you have them, then Nintendo's going to be like, but what
we need the
about
baby.
Baby Peach, Baby Daisy, Baby Rosalina? It's like, no.
What? And then next, it'll be like, oh, so you don't want the baby characters? All right, here's Baby Yoshi, here's Baby Link, here's like they're just gonna. Everyone's a baby.
Baby cart, which they could make money off of if they only did baby cart.
Or instead of Mario Kart, it's just Baby Mario Kart, and so then
It should be baby cart.
oh my
Mario
God, if they're-
riding
if
babies.
They're all riding tricycles.
Oh,
Never mind.
You and I
Okay.
had very different visions about baby cart.
Maybe
But no,
this is
I-
the game that needs to happen.
I just want all of the. I just want a Mario Kart with every track back. Like that would just be a ton of fun, and because with the series turning 30 in a couple years, it'd be fun to see everything come back. Like that'd be a big one too. With just like when it's, everyone's back with Smash, that could be a big one too. It's like every track's back. Even throw in the arcade tracks if they wanted to as well. Just for fun. Add Pac-Man as a playable character.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, like I mean, all the tracks back is definitely something I would love to have, and you could even cycle through it like the cups are organized the way that they are in the game that they originated from, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, and then one of the last ones I want to hit on with this kind of a whole E3 season, with everything kind of being more spaced out and separate, since we're not having a actual E3 this year. Do you think this will be better for the announcement? So like an announcement like say a Mario Kart 9 being announced or Crash Bandicoot 4. Do you think that'll have it where it'll carry a little more weight since like they can announce this and there's not as much around it? Or do you think we're not going to see the same impact as say when they announced the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy at E3, or everyone's back in Smash, since it's going to be separate, so like not everyone's going to be as invested in what EA's announcement is or the PC gaming show, or like it's going to be a lot harder for people to catch more of these announcements.
I mean, I think it's definitely going to be it's going to be harder to reach as many people for sure, because E3 for me is like Nerd Christmas, and for a lot of people. And to not have it this year means that even though there was a lot of times that I would just I would be on YouTube and I would just skip. So I don't care. I would at least stop and see the game trailers to confirm that what I'm watching is something I don't want to buy. But at the very least, I was gathering the information and I was seeing what was there. But with all the information now being scattered because E3 is not coming together, it's not going to be as easy to find all of the information that you want. And so, yeah, I think that outside of Nintendo and maybe some big trailers, it's going to be hard for me to find what I'm looking for because I'm not going to think to really look for it, So I do hope that this is temporary, and I really, really hope for everybody in the future that we get E3 coming back next year and every year after that, because I don't think this is the better way to do things. It's definitely necessary for now, but going forward, I don't think that it's going to be what people want. So hopefully this isn't the end of E3 for good.
What about you, Connor?
I'm basically gonna echo it. E3 if you're not much of a gamer like me, it can be a lot of noise. And I'm only looking for 2 or 3 games that I'm actually interested in. However, at least I did know what was going on. And with E3 being canceled, it's still the same amount of noise, but now it's just scattered. And so I'm not going to hear about the smaller creators that would actually be kind of interested. So now I have to go and look for them, and that's now it's not streamlined. So it's I don't think it's any better at all. I think people are going to still go and find the games they're interested in. And so each trailer is going to still get its moment to shine. However, it's just now that it's not being handed to us, it's exactly. Since it's not going to be streamlined, people like the smaller creators are going to suffer the most.
Yeah, that's one that we've hit on a little bit as we've talked about this whole, like, will this be the end of E3 and all that, is it's the indie developers that this is going to hurt more. It's like, yeah, sure, Nintendo, like, Nintendo announcing who the ARMS character is might get a little less buzz than it would have during an E3 press conference. But a Nintendo announcement's still going to get a bunch of buzz. The new Madden, a new Call of Duty, all those are still going to like have people that will be caring about it. But these random, one-off indie titles, like something like a Cuphead, where like Cuphead being at E3 helped it get known to where then it became like a popular indie title before, and then Microsoft bought the studio, where we might not get that because we're not having a traditional press conference. A lot of people aren't even doing a digital conference. They're just going to be doing like just putting out information like Nintendo's doing. So it's going to be an impact on the indie developers for sure. So that will wrap up then the topic of the week, and we can move on into recommendations, which it was Johnny's turn last week, and he had us play the Moving Out demo on the Switch. So Johnny, why don't you talk a little bit about that and why you picked that?
So I saw there were a few YouTubers that were playing Moving Out when it first came out, and was announced through a Nintendo Direct. And so I wanted to see what it was like because it looked like it was something that was really quirky and goofy and silly. And so I figured, why not give it a shot myself? And so I tried playing it. But during the pandemic and not having anybody around to play it with made it a little less fun than I expected it to be. But from what everybody had seen, or from what I'd seen from everybody playing it, it looked like it was definitely more of a two-player game than something you could really play by yourself. And so I played with Connor earlier today, and I saw, Luke, that you were on playing it. So I'm hoping that you were playing with...
I was playing with Abby, yes.
Okay, great.
And I see you were playing with your significant other as well.
Yes, yeah. So just like you were playing with Abby, I played with Connor, and so yeah, it was definitely a lot more fun to play it two-player. I personally, I don't think that this is something that I would want to buy, but it was definitely a fun demo to play for 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's how Abby and I are feeling too. It's like the game's like $25 on the eShop right now, and it's like, yeah, sure, cool. If I had like money like burning a hole in my pocket, and I already had a bunch of other games on my backlog that I wanted bought, sure, maybe, but. Yeah, if this is down to like $10 one time, yeah, maybe. I had a lot of fun with it. It was funny just like how goofy it is. Just like on the first actual job, the one where it's the house where you got to move the bed and the fridge and all that.
Each house, yeah.
I would just go and jump through that window right away and break it. I was like, yeah, whatever.
Yep.
And so I'd break that window right away, and I caused so much destruction in that house, and it's like, whoops. But yeah, it was goofy, and it. Especially with everything how it's not just grab it and throw it and work together. You have to work together and strategize like it to make all 16 items fit. You have to kind of stack a few things in there because then at the end your bed isn't in there properly and it falls out and it doesn't count, and then you lose time and then you can fail it and all that. But yeah, we had fun. Again, yeah, I would go off the same thing. I probably wouldn't buy it unless it's on sale for cheap, like $25. I can get better games for that. But it was a fun demo. It would definitely be a fun game to play after having a few adult beverages with some friends. It does it does go up to 4 players, so I'm sure that game would be quite crazy, especially when you're a little intoxicated. But
this is a party game for sure.
Yeah, I did have a ton of fun with it. What about you, Connor?
Oh, it was definitely a party game. I don't know if I would spend $25. That game is not up my alley for that kind of price range. But if it were cheaper, I would absolutely get that and play with friends. If I play it one player, I imagine it's going to be an NPC that I go along with, or is it just going to be?
It's just you. Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. That would definitely be.
So what does it do then with like the fridge and the bed and all that?
You can still carry it out by yourself.
It
but
just
it's
takes
so
time.
Slow.
Yeah.
So I mean. Playing it one player is like taking a bed by yourself out of the apartment. That feels like you're moving a bed and refrigerator
so
by yourself.
But with a non-playable character joining you, that would go from like humor to frustration.
Dude,
tilt it.
No. So a good example of that is playing like Johnny would know, but playing Mario Party. And so, like, a lot of times, Abby will want to play Mario Party with me, and we'll play with one other person. So we'll have 3 humans and then a computer. And one of the ones that gets so frustrating is the mini game with the packages, where one person's the drone, and then
Yep.
and it's always one where one of the playable characters is the drone, and so the computer player is one of the ones that's to pick up the boxes, and they always get in the way, and it's just like, move, it's like, Rosalina, go away. And, but
I always hate being paired with the computer on the shaved ice minigame.
Oh yeah, that's another bad one.
Because they never do it right. But yeah, or the one with the shoelaces or the rubber bands, whatever they are, where you have to like wrap around in a certain shape.
Yes.
And yeah that's
Or
like it.
the one where it'll be like the Koopalings and the Koopa Troopas and I think it's Spike, like the ones where like they walk across and it's like, how many oranges did the Koopalings have?
Oh yes,
and
yes.
and then like it'll be like obviously 1, and then they'll be like 4, and then they'll just like stupid pot.
Yeah. Don't play Mario Party with bots.
That sucks. Yeah, but this was a lot of fun. I would like to show Emily that game sometime. And so yeah, that was, I thought, fun time.
Yeah, it's a fun time. Definitely
Fun to play with, not to eat.
worth buying. If it's $10, you have 4 players and alcoholic beverages.
Yes,
those 3 things together makes this game a really, really, really fun time.
For sure. But we can go on
would
to
you
our,
guys-
yeah, say
what would
I
you
would
guys
give it, let's see, yeah, I would give it a 7.5, ripping the fridges out of the wall out of 10.
Definitely 7 gator logs out of 10.
Okay.
Alrighty, and so then that means, hey, it's my turn again. And so I almost gave you guys another hour-long video about a Sonic game.
Darn it, you're not going to...
I know it was about Sonic Runners, the old mobile game that is no longer there. But
I
instead,
watched everything at 1.5 speed, so I wouldn't have minded.
but instead, it is a video from the YouTuber Kid Icarus. I don't know if you guys have ever watched his videos. He is a British YouTuber, does a lot of stuff mainly in the video game world. His videos are pretty funny, but he had a video about a month ago where he watched some videos from the worst video game review show ever. And so it's a nice mix to show you like what his content's kind of like, especially what it's been more recently, because it used to be more video game reviews, and now it's just kind of video game pop culture talk. And so I'll send you guys the link, but the title is I watched 287 of the worst game reviews ever. And so he watched this old public access television video game review show from the 90s, and it is quite bad. And it's one of those that once you watch it, you're probably going to want to go and look up the actual video game review show on there too, because a bunch of those are on YouTube, and see just how like horrendous, like everything about him is just horrible. And so I want you guys to watch this video and let me know what you thought of it, and then I'm sure you guys will come back with a lot of questions like I had to when I was also watching this.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too.
Even regardless of how long your videos are, they're always interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one's only 40 minutes.
Thank you for sparing us 20.
A little shorter than mine, and the one Court gave us a few weeks ago.
I'll spend the next 20 minutes just staring at a blank screen when it ends.
There you go.
Make
Exactly.
up for that time.
Yeah, because the Sonic one was about an hour 20, so I'm saving you some time there. So
Math.
do the math.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that.
And yeah, and then maybe if you want to watch more of Caddy's videos, he does have some pretty funny humor into it, and
You're
so
a funny humor.
Oh, hey, thank you, sir. So that then will conclude episode 18 of Rocket Talk. Be sure to obviously like and comment and subscribe and all the other fun stuff with that. As we mentioned last week, we do have a Facebook page now as well for the whole Rocket Bomb YouTube channel and everything, and then we have our Twitter and our Twitch, and so make sure you guys are following all that so you can stay up to date on on all the latest content that we're doing, and you can go and see our pretty faces even more. So that's it. Goodbye now, friends.
Bye, guys.